Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you could see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing one of my favorite models of all time from a brand I love. It could equally be called the icon of the Ulysse Nardin manufacturer and one of the most influential watches of all time. On my wrist, the 2008 Ulysse Nardin Freak Blue Phantom. 44.5 millimeters in white gold with open dial, carousel movement, 7-day power reserve, and an extraordinary and rich, indulgent blue-white combo. It's an easy watch to wear on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, but I wouldn't wear it on a wrist any smaller than 15 centimeters circumference because it is broad. 44.5 millimeters in diameter, it's actually quite slim, only 11.9 millimeters thick. It's lug-to-lug where the Freak really becomes freakishly large. 54.4 millimeters. You can see that 54.4 wears quite broad. The spacing between the lugs is between 21 and 22. It is a highly custom integrated profile strap, so you're going to want to replace it with a custom strap or a Ulysse Nardin OEM unit. You can see that it is a broad and flat watch, and it bears all. It keeps no secrets. The thing about the Freak is that all of its technology is upfront and easy to appreciate. But first, the accessories. As you can see, the strap conforms both to the curve of the case and the downward slope of the lugs. It's navy blue, relatively thin outboard of the lugs. It features a monotone stitch, a folded edge, calfskin. As you can see, it's a new Ulysse Nardin factory strap, so you'll get to gouge it first. Alligator leather, large rectangular scale, the highest grade. The clasp is a handsome white gold piece to match the case, and as you can see, it's nicely made. A combination of relieved and polished UN logo interior with a little bit of a blasted base. All the rest is of polish, and you can see there is a twin trigger system that uses a swing arm of the buckle as a spring system for the triggers. So this one shuts resolutely closed, and you can see due to the ceramic pin snaps internally, it maintains its tight tolerances over time. It's also nicely made and UN branded, so you have security against droppage, and this is a heavy watch, so you'll want that deployant clasp. You can note that the case band features a bolt-fixed individual numbering plate in the fashion of Ulysse Nardin's famous 19th century and early 20th century marine chronometer maritime deck clocks. The lugs have a little bit of a downward tuck to them. They're sloped, they're all of high polish, and then you can see there's a little bit of a fluted shoulder to break up the mass of metal. It does look rather monolithic without that fluted portion. Well chosen. It leads into the case band, which is a little bit of a barrel shape. As you can see, it splays outward and then tucks downward. There's a symmetry between the form of the bezel and the form of the case back because both are mobile and used for setting and winding the watch. You'll note there's a little number plate, or I should say a name plate, along with the number plate. Blue Phantom down at 6 o'clock, and you actually lift this plate in order to disengage the lock for the bezel. Why lock the bezel? Because it's used to set the watch. I mentioned that this watch bears all of its secrets. You can see the entire UN 201 movement right here. As you can note, there is a hour hand underneath the baguette style minute hand. The minute hand features all of the train wheels carrying the 7 days of mainspring power to a free sprung balance that's highly shock resistant and features recessed aerodynamic style bolts, the better to make the most of balance profiling. The watch beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and the eddies created by external regulating bolts not present here, because if you were to see this watch fully discharged, the balance features the bolts recessed inside the rim. It is Ulysse Nardin movement through and through, right down to the direct impulse silicon escapement. You can see one of the wheels is a sort of iridescent purple and one is an iridescent blue. Now these silicon systems are created in-house for Ulysse Nardin by their Sigatech subsidiary, which makes silicon and makes only silicon, and they've owned Sigatech since 2001, so it's highly integrated. The direct impulse system works without any lubrication, and each of those two wheels with an alternating lock that engages and disengages them. They only impulse the balance in its direction of travel in each direction, negating the need for lubrication, which is often a limiting factor, one might say. When a watch needs a service, it's usually the balance staff the mainspring barrel or the anchor itself. So with this direct impulse system, you remove that potentially aging lubricant. Very efficient. It also helps to play into the watch's 7-day power reserve. Now you can see that all of the sapphires here, the rubies in conventional movements, they're basically sapphire just like the crystal of the watch, but these feature no impurities, so they are clear rubies or clear corundum. That's the material. You'll note that there is a blued titanium coating about the baguette-style minute hand, and it continues over to the polished and blued bolts, the individual screws fixing the mechanism in place. Now there is a sapphire disc outboard featuring the numerals. There is loom for the hours and the minutes hands. And you can see that the base of the watch, consistent with the Blue Phantom nomenclature, the base of the dial is completely blued. There's a Ulysse Nardin nameplate, and then you can see that there's actually a little pivot at the top of the carousel. The carousel was invented by a Dane in the early 1890s, Bonabonnix, and he wanted something that was more durable than a tourbillon, while effectively serving the same purpose of rotating the escapement and the balance relative to gravity and keeping it moving so that it wouldn't be subject to gravitational effects in any one position for long, effectively canceling out by presenting many orientations to gravity. But a carousel has separate power systems for the escapement as well as the rotating body. So there's the power that rotates this, and then there's the power that operates the escapement. If I tried to move a tourbillon system, I would crash the escapement. So you can see really well those iridescent direct impulse escape wheels. So that's why the carousel is a better solution for a wristwatch. The Freak Diavolo has both a carousel and a tourbillon. This one has a carousel. Now you use that system for setting the watch. Now I've locked the bezel in place. On the case back, you can see the Ulysse Nardin Wave logo, and you can see an informal power reserve system that allows you to see the mainspring. As I turn the case back to wind the watch, the coils will tighten, indicating that they are closer and closer to maximum wind. When fully wound, you will see the coils are almost completely in contact with each other. And so you wind the watch with the case back, you set the watch with the bezel, and it is an extraordinary system, a watch that defies description. Even in the year 2019, it remains as freakish as ever. High technology silicon, high technology direct impulse escapement, unlubricated, free sprung balance, a balance of UN's own construction with aerodynamic properties, setting with the bezel, winding the 7-day power reserve with the case back, all of it in a design that could only be Ulysse Nardin. You can see this Ulysse Nardin Blue Phantom and make it yours on the watch box. Ulysse Nardin Blue Phantom Loom. You can see the hour and the minute hands.